Tom Davis stood at the large window of the space station Harmony Point, watching the stars shine in the endless black space. His hands were a little shaky and his heart beat fast in his chest. Today was the most important day in human history. After years of sending radio signals into space, someone finally answered back. The Zephyrian Empire had agreed to meet with humans for the first time. Tom worked as a cultural liaison officer for the Earth Space Command. His job was to help different species understand each other. He had studied alien cultures for 10 years, but today would be his first real test. Captain Mike Rogers walked up beside Tom. "Are you ready for this, Davis?" Tom nodded. "As ready as anyone can be for meeting aliens, I suppose." The space station buzzed with activity. Human diplomats, scientists, and security officers moved around preparing for the meeting. Everyone wore their best uniforms. The meeting room had been cleaned 3 times. Fresh flowers from Earth decorated the tables. "Remember," Captain Rogers said, "we need to make a good first impression. The future of humanity depends on this meeting." Tom understood the pressure. Earth needed new friends in space. The planet was running out of resources, and the population kept growing. Finding allies could mean the difference between survival and extinction. A loud sound came from the speakers. "Attention all personnel. The Zephyrian delegation will arrive in 30 minutes. Tom's stomach turned with nervousness. He had read every file about the Zephyrians. They were an advanced species from the Andromeda system. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of human science. They could travel between stars like humans traveled between cities. The most interesting fact about Zephyrians was their telepathic abilities. They could read thoughts and share emotions directly from mind to mind. This made Tom worried. What if they didn't like what they found in human minds? Dr. Sarah Chen, the head scientist on the mission, joined Tom and Captain Rogers at the window. "The scans show their ship is massive," she said. "It's at least 10 times bigger than our largest vessel." Tom watched as a silver shape appeared in the distance. The Zephyrian ship moved smoothly through space without making any sound. It looked like a giant crystal floating among the stars. Beautiful lights danced across its surface in patterns that seemed alive. "It's magnificent," Tom whispered. The ship came closer to the station. Tom could see that it wasn't made of metal like human ships. Instead, it appeared to be grown from some kind of living crystal. The surface shifted colors from blue to purple to silver as it moved. "All diplomatic staff report to Docking Bay 7, the speaker announced. Tom took a deep breath and followed the group toward the docking area. The corridor felt longer than usual. His footsteps echoed off the metal walls. Other team members talked quietly among themselves, but Tom stayed silent. He used the time to prepare his mind for what was coming. The docking bay was huge and bright. Large lights hung from the ceiling, casting sharp shadows on the floor. The human delegation stood in formation, waiting. Ambassador Lisa Park stood at the front, wearing her finest dress uniform with gold buttons that gleamed under the lights. "Remember, everyone," Ambassador Park said. "We represent all of humanity today. Stay calm, be respectful, and follow my lead." The massive doors of the docking bay began to open. A soft hissing sound filled the air as the airlocks connected. Tom felt his heart pound faster. This was it. First contact with an alien species. A gentle light flowed from the Zephyrian ship. Tom had to squint his eyes as 3 figures emerged from the bright glow. The first thing he noticed was how tall they were. Each Zephyrian stood at least 7 feet high with thin, elegant bodies that moved like dancers. Their skin looked like polished crystal, changing colors in the light. Instead of hair, they had flowing strands that seemed to be made of liquid starlight. Their eyes were large and silver, reflecting everything around them like mirrors. The leader of the group was clearly female and wore robes that sparkled like the night sky. A crown of twisted crystal sat on her head, marking her as royalty. Tom realized this must be Princess Vera, heir to the Zephyrian throne. Ambassador Park stepped forward. "Welcome to Harmony Point. I am Ambassador Lisa Park, representing the United Earth government." Princess Vera moved with graceful steps toward the human delegation. When she spoke, her voice sounded like music. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Princess Vera of the Zephyrian Empire. We come in peace to learn about your species." The formal introductions continued, but Tom noticed something troubling. The Zephyrian delegation seemed uncomfortable. Their crystal skin flickered with darker colors, and they kept stepping backward. Princess Vera's advisors whispered to each other in their musical language. Tom had studied enough alien behavior to recognize signs of distress. Something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out what. The human team was being polite and following all the proper protocols. Then it hit him. The Zephyrians were telepathic. They could sense the thoughts and emotions of everyone around them. The excitement and nervousness of the human delegation must be overwhelming their sensitive minds. While Ambassador Park continued with the formal greetings, Tom quietly moved to the light controls. He dimmed the harsh overhead lights to a softer glow. The Zephyrians immediately relaxed slightly, their skin returning to brighter colors. Next, Tom noticed the youngest member of the Zephyrian group, barely more than a child, struggling near the back. The young alien held his head in his hands and swayed like he might fall down. Tom recognized the signs of mental overload. Without thinking about protocol, Tom approached the young Zephyrian. He spoke in a gentle, quiet voice. "Are you all right?" The young alien looked up with wide silver eyes full of pain. "Too many thoughts," he whispered. "So loud in my head." Tom had an idea. During his cultural studies, he had learned meditation techniques from various Earth cultures. "Try this," he said softly. "Close your eyes and imagine a wall made of peaceful blue light around your mind. Nothing can get through the wall except what you choose to let in." The young Zephyrian followed Tom's instructions. Slowly, the pain left his face. His crystal skin brightened to a healthy silver glow. "Thank you, kind human," he said. "The noise is gone now." Princess Vera had been watching this interaction while still participating in the formal discussions. Her large silver eyes followed Tom's every movement. When she saw him help her young companion, something changed in her expression. The official tour of the station began. Ambassador Park led the group through the corridors, showing off human technology and culture. Tom walked near the back, keeping an eye on the Zephyrian delegation. He continued making small adjustments to help them feel more comfortable. In the hydroponics bay, the bright growing lights made the Zephyrians squint. Tom quickly activated the automatic dimming system. In the recreation area, loud music from the entertainment system caused the aliens to cover their ears. Tom turned down the volume to a gentle background level. Each time Tom made these small changes, Princess Vera noticed. Her silver eyes found him in the crowd again and again. She began to smile when she saw him helping her people. The tour ended in the main conference room where the real negotiations would begin. The room had been set up with flags from Earth and crystal formations to represent the Zephyrian Empire. A large table filled the center with chairs for both species. As everyone took their seats, Tom remained standing near the back wall. His job was to observe and provide cultural advice if needed. He watched the Zephyrians carefully for any signs of discomfort. Ambassador Park began the formal discussions about trade agreements and resource sharing. The conversation was going well until Tom noticed the Zephyrian advisors becoming agitated again. Their skin flickered with rapid color changes that suggested strong emotions. Princess Vera raised her hand to pause the discussion. She turned to her advisors and spoke in their musical language. The conversation became heated, with several advisors pointing toward the human delegation. Tom realized what was happening. The Zephyrians could sense the underlying emotions behind the human words. While Ambassador Park spoke about peace and friendship, the Zephyrians could feel the desperation and need driving humanity's requests. They felt manipulated by the emotional disconnect between words and feelings. During a break in the negotiations, Princess Vera stood and walked to where her advisors had gathered near the window. Tom was close enough to hear their conversation, though he couldn't understand their language. However, their body language told a clear story of disagreement. Then Princess Vera did something unexpected. She looked directly at Tom across the room. Her silver eyes met his brown ones, and for a moment time seemed to stop. Tom felt something strange, like a gentle touch on his mind. It wasn't invasive or frightening, just curious and warm. Princess Vera turned back to her advisors and spoke clearly in perfect English, so all the humans could hear. "This one," she said, pointing at Tom, "this human understands harmony. He sees our needs and responds with kindness. He would make a perfect mate." The entire room fell silent. Ambassador Park's mouth dropped open. Captain Rogers nearly fell off his chair. The Zephyrian advisors made sounds of surprise in their musical language. Tom felt his face turn red with embarrassment. He had not expected to become the center of attention, especially not in this way. Princess Vera continued to look at him with interest as if studying a fascinating puzzle. Your Highness, Ambassador Park said carefully. I'm not sure I understand. Are you suggesting a diplomatic marriage? Princess Vera tilted her head, considering the question. Among my people, choosing a mate is not just about romance. It is about finding someone whose spirit harmonizes with yours. Someone who can bridge different worlds and bring understanding between species. She walked closer to Tom, who stood frozen in place. This human, she said, showed kindness to our youth without being asked. He sensed our discomfort and quietly made changes to help us feel welcome. He did not seek credit or recognition. These are the qualities we value most in a life partner. Tom finally found his voice. Your Highness, I was just trying to be a good host. It's what any decent person would do. Princess Vera smiled and her crystal skin glowed brighter. Exactly. You see others as worthy of care and respect regardless of species. This is harmony in action. The Zephyrian advisors began talking rapidly among themselves. Tom caught some words in their language that he had studied. They seemed to be debating whether a human could truly bond with a Zephyrian royal. Ambassador Park stepped forward diplomatically. This is certainly an unexpected development. Perhaps we should take time to consider what this might mean for both our species. Princess Vera nodded. Of course. Such decisions cannot be made hastily, but I wanted you to know that I see great potential in this human. He possesses qualities that could help our species understand each other better. Tom felt overwhelmed by the sudden attention. Just an hour ago, he had been a background observer. Now he was somehow at the center of interspecies diplomacy. He wasn't sure if he should feel honored or terrified. The meeting was adjourned for the day to give both sides time to process what had happened. As the Zephyrian delegation prepared to return to their ship, Princess Vera approached Tom one more time. Do not fear, she said softly. I am not asking you to make any decisions today. I simply wanted you to know that your kindness has been noticed and appreciated. Tom managed to find his voice. Thank you, Your Highness. I'm honored by your words even if I don't fully understand what they mean yet. Princess Vera smiled again. Understanding will come with time. For now, know that you have made friends among the stars. As the Zephyrian delegation left, Tom stood in the empty conference room trying to process what had just happened. His quiet day of diplomatic observation had turned into something far more complicated and important than he had ever imagined. Tom spent the entire night walking around his quarters on the space station. Sleep felt impossible after Princess Vera's shocking announcement. He kept replaying her words in his mind. How could an alien princess want him as a mate? They had only just met, and they belonged to completely different species. The next morning brought an emergency meeting in the main conference room. Ambassador Park looked tired with dark circles under her eyes. Captain Rogers paced back and forth near the window. Dr. Chen sat at the table with stacks of research files spread out before her. We need to understand what this means, Ambassador Park said when Tom entered the room. Dr. Chen has been researching Zephyrian mating customs all night. Dr. Chen looked up from her papers. It's fascinating and complicated, she said. Zephyrian royal bonding isn't just about marriage. It's a telepathic connection that links two minds together permanently. The bond represents unity between different worlds and peoples. Tom sat down heavily in a chair. So she wants to connect our minds? Is that even possible? Humans aren't telepathic. That's the problem, Dr. Chen continued. According to their customs, a true royal bond requires both partners to share thoughts and emotions directly. Without telepathic abilities, the connection can't be formed. Captain Rogers stopped pacing and turned to face the group. So this is impossible then? We tell them thanks but no thanks? It's not that simple, Ambassador Park said. Princess Vera's declaration has created a diplomatic situation. Her advisors are split into two groups. Some see this as proof that humans and Zephyrians can never truly unite. Others believe it shows we have hidden potential they haven't discovered yet. Tom felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. So the future of human-Zephyrian relations depends on whether I can somehow develop telepathic powers? There might be another way, Dr. Chen said quietly. She pulled out a crystal device from her research materials. The Zephyrians gave us this communication crystal yesterday. Our scientists have been studying it all night. The crystal was beautiful, about the size of Tom's fist with swirling colors that moved inside like liquid light. When Dr. Chen touched it, the colors became brighter and more active. We think this crystal might be able to bridge the gap between human and Zephyrian minds, Dr. Chen explained. But the process would be experimental and dangerous. We don't know what it might do to a human brain. Tom picked up the crystal carefully. It felt warm in his hands, and the colors began to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. What kind of dangerous? Dr. Chen hesitated before answering. The crystal could give you limited telepathic abilities, allowing you to form the bond with Princess Vera, but it could also damage your mind permanently. We've never tried anything like this before. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Tom stared at the crystal, watching the colors dance inside. He thought about Princess Vera's kindness to her people and her genuine desire to understand humans. He thought about Earth's need for allies among the stars. I want to try it, Tom said finally. Absolutely not, Captain Rogers said immediately. We can't risk your life on an experiment. Think about what's at stake, Tom replied. If this works, it could create a permanent alliance between our species. If it doesn't work, we're back where we started, but at least we tried. Ambassador Park looked concerned. Tom, this isn't just about diplomacy anymore. Princess Vera seems to genuinely care about you. If something goes wrong, we could lose both the alliance and your life. Before Tom could respond, the communication system activated. Princess Vera's musical voice filled the room. May I come aboard your station? I would like to speak with Tom privately. The human team exchanged glances. Ambassador Park activated the communicator. Of course, Your Highness. We would be honored to receive you. 20 minutes later, Princess Vera arrived at the docking bay with only 2 guards. She wore simpler robes today, but her crystal crown still marked her royal status. Her silver eyes immediately found Tom among the human delegation. Tom, she said, walking directly to him, I understand you have learned about our bonding customs. I want you to know that I never intended to put pressure on you or your people. Tom was surprised by her directness. Your Highness, I appreciate that. But I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, about harmony and understanding between species. Princess Vera's crystal skin flickered with gentle colors. What are your thoughts? I believe you're right about the importance of connecting different worlds, Tom said. But I'm worried about the telepathic requirements. Humans don't have those abilities naturally. Princess Vera moved closer, and Tom caught a scent like mountain air and starlight. There are many forms of connection, she said softly. Telepathy is just one way minds can touch. Perhaps humans have abilities we haven't recognized yet. Dr. Chen stepped forward with the crystal device. Your Highness, we've been studying this communication crystal. We think it might help bridge the gap between human and Zephyrian minds. Princess Vera's eyes widened when she saw the crystal. Where did you get this? These are sacred bonding crystals used only in the most important royal ceremonies. Your delegation gave it to us yesterday as a communication device, Ambassador Park explained. Princess Vera looked confused. She spoke rapidly in her musical language to her guards. Their responses made her crystal skin flash with bright colors. There has been a misunderstanding, she said to the humans. My advisors gave you this crystal because they believed it would prove the impossibility of human Zephyrian bonding. They expected it to remain dark and lifeless in human hands. Tom held up the crystal, which continued to pulse with warm light in response to his touch. But it's not dark or lifeless. It's been glowing since we first touched it. Princess Vera stared at the crystal in amazement. This should not be possible. These crystals only respond to minds capable of true harmony. They have been dark for centuries because so few beings possess the right spiritual qualities. What does this mean? Tom asked. It means, Princess Vera said slowly, that you already have the most important requirement for our bonding. The crystal recognizes something in your spirit that resonates with ours. Dr. Chen looked excited. So the telepathic connection might actually be possible? Princess Vera nodded. With the help of the bonding crystal, yes. But Tom must understand the risks. The process of joining human and Zephyrian consciousness has never been attempted. No one knows what might happen. Tom looked around the room at the faces of his colleagues and friends. They were all counting on him to make the right decision. The future of humanity's place in the galaxy might depend on what he chose to do next. I want to try, Tom said firmly. Not just for diplomacy, but because I believe Princess Vera is right about the importance of understanding between species. If this works, it could be the beginning of something amazing. Princess Vera's crystal skin glowed brighter than Tom had ever seen it. You are willing to risk your mind and possibly your life for the chance to build bridges between our peoples? Yes, Tom said without hesitation. That's what humans do. We adapt, we take risks, and we find ways to connect with others even when it seems impossible. Princess Vera looked at him with something that might have been love beginning to grow in her silver eyes. This is why the crystal responds to you. This courage and willingness to sacrifice for others. These are the qualities of a true harmony maker. The preparations for the bonding ceremony took 3 days. Zephyrian engineers worked with human scientists to create a safe environment for the procedure. They built a special chamber filled with crystals that would amplify and guide the mental connection. Tom spent the time learning about Zephyrian culture and telepathic techniques. Princess Vera taught him meditation methods that would help prepare his mind for the bonding. She also shared stories about her people and their long history among the stars. We have traveled the galaxy for thousands of years, she told him as they walked through the station's observation deck. But we have always remained isolated because few species can handle our telepathic nature. Most find our mental presence overwhelming or frightening. Tom watched the stars outside the massive windows. Is that why your advisors are against this bonding? They're afraid humans might be the same? Princess Vera sighed, a sound like wind through crystal chimes. Some of them, yes. They believe maintaining our isolation keeps us safe and pure. But I have seen how you interact with my people. You don't fear our differences. You find ways to work with them. On the morning of the ceremony, Tom woke early and went to the observation deck to watch the sunrise over Earth. The blue planet looked small and peaceful from the space station. He thought about all the people down there who didn't even know aliens existed yet. Princess Vera found him there an hour later. She wore ceremonial robes that seemed to be made of liquid starlight. Her crystal crown had been replaced with a simple circlet of silver that made her look younger and more approachable. Are you ready? She asked softly. Tom turned to face her. As ready as anyone can be for something that's never been done before. They walked together to the bonding chamber. The room was filled with hundreds of crystals of all sizes, from tiny gems to massive formations that reached the ceiling. The air hummed with energy that made Tom's skin tingle. Dr. Chen and the Zephyrian engineers had spent days calibrating the equipment. Heart monitors and brain scanners surrounded a platform in the center of the room, where Tom and Princess Vera would conduct the ceremony. Remember, Dr. Chen said as she attached monitoring devices to Tom's head. If anything feels wrong or dangerous, we stop immediately. Your safety is more important than the ceremony. Tom nodded and took his place on the platform. Princess Vera sat across from him, holding the bonding crystal between her hands. The other crystals in the room began to glow in response, creating a symphony of light and color. Close your eyes and open your mind, Princess Vera said in her musical voice. Let the crystal guide you toward harmony. Tom closed his eyes and tried to relax. He felt the crystal's energy flowing around him like warm water. Slowly, he became aware of something else in his mind, a presence that was gentle and curious, like a friendly visitor exploring his thoughts. The presence was Princess Vera. Tom could sense her emotions and memories flowing past him like scenes from a movie. He saw her childhood on a crystal planet where towers of living rock reached toward purple skies. He felt her loneliness as a princess who struggled to connect with others. He experienced her wonder and hope when she first learned about humans. In return, Tom opened his own memories to her. She saw his childhood on Earth, playing in green fields under a yellow sun. She felt his dedication to helping others understand each other. She experienced his excitement about exploring the stars and meeting new forms of life. The connection between their minds grew stronger. Tom realized he could sense not just Princess Vera's thoughts, but something much larger. Through her, he could feel the collective consciousness of the Zephyrian people. Millions of minds linked together in harmony, sharing knowledge and emotions across vast distances. But something was wrong. Tom could feel Princess Vera struggling with the connection. His human mind was different from what she expected. Instead of the ordered, crystalline thoughts of her own people, Tom's consciousness was chaotic and emotional, full of contradictions and wild dreams. I'm sorry, Tom said, trying to pull back from the connection. My mind is too different. Too messy for your people. No, Princess Vera said firmly, her mental voice clear in his head. Don't pull away. Your mind isn't messy. It's creative. It's alive in ways ours never could be. Tom felt her adjusting her approach to the connection. Instead of trying to impose Zephyrian mental patterns on him, she began to appreciate the unique qualities of human consciousness. She marveled at his ability to hold contradictory ideas simultaneously, to feel multiple emotions at once, to dream of impossible things. "This is what we've been missing," Princess Vera said with excitement filling their shared consciousness. "Your people don't think in straight lines like we do. You think in spirals and circles and unexpected leaps. You can imagine solutions we would never consider." Suddenly, alarms began ringing in the chamber. Dr. Chen's voice cut through the mental connection. "We're seeing unusual brain activity. Tom, your neural patterns are changing." Tom felt the change happening. The crystal was altering his brain, creating new pathways that could handle telepathic communication. But instead of making him more like a Zephyrian, it was enhancing his uniquely human qualities. "It's working," Princess Vera said through their mental link, "but not the way anyone expected. You're not becoming telepathic like us. You're becoming something new, something that can bridge the gap between species." The ceremony concluded with a flash of light that filled the entire chamber. When Tom opened his eyes, he could see colors that had no names and hear harmonies that existed only in the realm of thought. The connection with Princess Vera remained, but it felt natural now, like an extra sense he had always possessed. "How do you feel?" Dr. Chen asked, checking the medical readings. Tom stood up slowly, testing his balance. His mind felt expanded, like a room that had suddenly grown larger. "Different," he said. "But good different." Princess Vera rose gracefully and took his hand. The moment their skin touched, Tom felt their mental connection strengthen. He could sense her joy and amazement at what they had accomplished together. "The bond is complete," she announced to everyone in the chamber. "But it's unlike any bond in Zephyrian history. Tom has retained his human nature while gaining the ability to connect with our minds. He can serve as a bridge between our species." Over the following days, Tom discovered the full extent of his new abilities. He could communicate telepathically with Zephyrians, but he could also translate their thoughts and emotions in ways that other humans could understand. He became a living interpreter between two very different forms of consciousness. The first real test of his new role came when raiders attacked Harmony Point. The attackers were from a hostile species that wanted to prevent the human-Zephyrian alliance. They believed that cooperation between species weakened the natural order of the galaxy. During the attack, Tom found himself coordinating the defense alongside Princess Vera. His human tactical thinking combined with her telepathic coordination abilities created a defense strategy that neither species could have developed alone. Shield. Generators are failing on level 7. Captain Rogers reported over the communication system. Tom closed his eyes and reached out with his new abilities. Through the Zephyrian mental network, he could sense the positions of all the defenders and attackers simultaneously. "Princess Vera," he said, "can your people create a telepathic illusion to confuse the raiders while our security teams flank them?" "Yes," she replied, her mental voice clear in his head. "But we need to coordinate the timing perfectly." Tom's human intuition told him exactly when to strike. "Now," he said. The Zephyrian defenders created a massive telepathic illusion that made the raiders think the station was abandoned. While the attackers searched empty corridors, human security teams surrounded them from behind. The battle was won without a single casualty on either side. After the attack, the Zephyrian Council finally accepted that the human-Zephyrian alliance was beneficial for both species. Tom's unique abilities had proven that cooperation could make both peoples stronger. Princess Vera stood with Tom on the observation deck, watching the stars through the massive windows. Their mental connection hummed with contentment and love. "What happens now?" Tom asked. "Now we build something new," Princess Vera replied. "An alliance between species that preserves what makes each of us unique while creating new possibilities together." Tom smiled and squeezed her hand. "That sounds like the beginning of a beautiful adventure." The story of Tom and Princess Vera became legend throughout the galaxy. Their bonding ceremony became the foundation for the Interspecies Harmony Accord, which established protocols for cooperation between telepathic and non-telepathic species. Tom's transformation proved that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in matching other species, but in maintaining their unique perspective while finding ways to connect across differences. His ability to bridge the gap between radically different forms of consciousness opened new possibilities for peace and understanding among the stars. Years later, When other human explorers met new alien species throughout the galaxy, they carried with them the knowledge that adaptation and empathy could overcome any barrier. The story of the human who became a harmony bridge inspired countless others to seek understanding, rather than dominance in their encounters with the unknown. And in the crystal palaces of the Zephyrian Empire, children learned songs about the brave human who risked everything to build friendship between the stars, proving that love and understanding could unite even the most different of peoples.